So here it is, folks, the final game of the Champions League group stages. Who's going to make it to the knockouts? Who will be falling into the Europa League? And who is going home? We'll tell you all about it next. That's right, folks, back once again with another prediction video. This time we're taking a look at matchday number 6 out in the Champions League, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Champions League related, Blackburn Rovers related, World Football living all here. That's right, it is festive countdown and all that kind of good stuff. But there's only one place to be this coming week. It is in the Champions League as we look ahead to not only who's going to be knocked out of the tournament completely, who's going to be falling into the Europa League, and of course, who's going to make it to the knockouts. Well, here are what I think, but before we get into that sort of situation, let's see how both you and I got on in the last round of matches with our predictions. This is the criteria. If you get 0 to 5, you're in the shit-faced gang. 6 to 10, you're in the okay gang. 11 plus, you're in the top banana. And I'll tell you what, I did pretty poop this week, but not that poop. So let's take a look at how I got on, folks. So kicking it all off, it was Galatasaray up against FC Brugge out of Belgium. That ended up as a 1-1 draw. Actually went with a 3-0 win for the Turkish team on that one. Absolutely hideous one for me. Real Madrid, they took on PSG, and that ended up as a 2-2 draw. Actually went with a 3-1 win for Madrid on this one. Another absolute shocker. Spurs did beat Olympiakos 4-2. Actually went with a 3-0 win for me on that one. I think that was Mourinho game. Red Star Belgrade did get battered by Bayern 6-0 in the end. Actually, I went with a 2-1 win for Bayern. I thought because they qualified, they'd only just do it. Next up, we have Lokomotiv Moscow, who slipped up against Bayern Leverkusen 2-0 in the end. Actually, went with a 1-1 draw in this one. Another hideous round of predictions for me. Juventus did beat Atletico Madrid 1-0 in the end. Actually, went with a 3-1 win for Juve. They did okay. Manchester City only could muster a draw 1-1 against Shakhtar Donetsk. Actually, went with a 4-0 win. Demolition. So I got that one wrong as well. And Atalanta did beat Zagreb 2-0. I got that one bang on the nose, boys. Bang on the pissing nose. Moving forward, the champions, Liverpool took on Napoli. That ended up as a 1-1 draw. Actually went with a 3-1 win for Liverpool. And that one slipped up there. And Salzburg did take care of business against Genk 4-1. Actually with a 2-1 win for Genk. Barcelona did beat Dortmund 3-1 to go through, I believe. 3-0 for me. Not too shabby there. And Inter Milan picked up the away win against Slavia Prague 3-1. Actually went with a 2-1 win myself. Zenit did beat Olympic Lyon 2-0 in the end. Actually went with a 1-1 draw. Rasensport Leipzig actually drew with Benfica 2-2 in the end. Actually went with a 2-1 win for Leipzig. Valencia and Chelsea duked out to a 2-2 draw. Bang on the flipping nose. And Ajax did take care of business against Lille 2-0 in the end. Actually went with a 2-1 win. So as you can see, I just scraped into the straight-faced gang. Now, how about you guys? Well, on Margie Monday, not too shabby. Adam Celtic, also not too shabby. Adio Petra also joins us in the not too shabby gang. No co-drinker, not too bad. We are QPR, did okay for himself. Drop Storage, not too shabby as well. Andrea Pakush also did okay for himself. And Truls Eriksson, not too bad. Yannick Busler, Ose, okay, did all right for himself. Christian 04, double prediction there. I should really duke him out for single picks, but he did okay for himself. Alonso Alabama also did okay, and Algie and Cow, not too shabby. So we're all in the not too shabby gang this week. So as we head into matchday number 6, let's take a little refresh of the tables. So PSG are through. They're over the line, as are Real Madrid. So there's no questions there. The big boys can relax a little bit. Bayern are also through, as are Spurs. They are also over the line quite comfortably. So again, they could kind of relax a little bit. But there are still things to be sorted out for the 3rd and 4th place teams in both of those groups with an opportunity to continue their European adventure in the Europa League. Meanwhile, Manchester City are also through. They're in the line. However, the 2nd place spot is wide open with all 3 sides have a chance to make it to the knockouts. Juventus are also through. Atletico Madrid and Bayer Leverkusen will be duking it out for that 2nd spot. Lokomotiv Moscow have an outside shot of Europa League as well. Liverpool appear to be just there. Maybe a little mathematical problem if they do lose to Salzburg. So it's not over the line. But Genk are out completely. Barcelona are through. And then it's a two-horse race for the last spot between Inter Milan and Borussia Dortmund in that respective group. Next up, we have Rasensport Leipzig, who are just about there, but again, not mathematically out of the equation that they could come out of it. Zenit and Olympic Lyon are also in with a shot. And Ajax are nearly over the line, but they cannot get there just yet. Chelsea and Valencia hot on the heels with 8 points. So, let's get it going into the match day number 6. We're going to kick it off right in Group A with PSG up against Galatasaray. That's right. Now, this match will take place on Wednesday, the 11th of December. Now, they played each other 3 times in recent years, going back to 2000. And it's actually been 2 wins for PSG, 1 win for Galatasaray. That Galatasaray win was back in 2000 in Turkey. But the one and only time they played in France was a 2-0 win back in 2001. The goal scorer on that day, get this, it was Christian with a daily double in the end. Obviously, PSG are through. Galatasaray, they're out. But they are trying to get themselves into Europa League contention. And right now, Club Brugge have the upper hand. But anyway, bookmakers' odds on this one. Where are you? 6-1 on for PSG, 60-1 for Galatasaray, 6-1 the draw. PSG should take this one. I'm giving them a 3-0 win in the end. Next up, same group, Club Brugge up against Real Madrid, same day as well, 11th of December. They've only played each other once in recent times anyway, going back to the earlier campaign, it was a 2-2 draw over in Spain. So will Club Brugge get one better than them? This time around, we'll have to wait and see. There's actually a couple of last-minute, well, at least one last-minute.com gone, Casemiro with the equaliser on the 85th minute. Club Brugge also had a man sent off in that previous match. Club Brugge trying to get themselves through in the Europa League, at least. Real Madrid are also through, so they might, again, just like PSG, play a rotated squad. Bookmakers' odds on this one. Club Brugge 21-20, 6-5 for Real Madrid, 13-5 the draw. You realistically can go. It is going to be a Real Madrid victory, isn't it? But it might not be as big or as convincing as you expect. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for the multiple winners of the Champions League. Next up, we have Bayern München up against Tottenham Hotspur. Now, this is Mourinho up against one of the juggernauts this time around. Now, these two sides have played each other twice in recent time. One was a friendly, I think, a Mickey Mouse friendly in the summer. And obviously, it was that 7-2 demolition earlier in the campaign. Kind of highlighted Pochettino's sort of vulnerabilities and situation, and ultimately led to him getting the sack. So, a bit of revenge, perhaps, for Tottenham. I think Mourinho would go a long way to winning over those Pochettino Remainers with a convincing winning over Bayern. But it doesn't really matter because both sides are through. Heading into this, though, recent form is pretty similar. The last 4 games, both Madrid, both Bayern and Tottenham have actually won 3 and lost the last one heading into this. Now, they will play another game before this match, so things can change. Bookmakers' odds on this one. What have we got? Also taking place on... what day is this taking place? Also taking place on Wednesday. 47-100 for Bayern, 5-1 the away win, 18-5 the draw. These two sides, yeah, we did talk about that. Realistically, as much as I love Mourinho, he ain't going to get it. I think he's going to get a 2-2 draw in the end, and that will be a bit of a confidence booster for them heading into the knockout stages, and of course a very, very busy festive period. Next up, we have Olympiakos up against Red Star Belgrade. Now, these two sides have duked it out at least twice. Earlier in the campaign, it was a 3-1 win over in Belgrade. With goal scorers. Who was on the scores that day? Milos Vulic, Nemanja Milinkovic, and Richard Bojoke, whoever he may be. Those were the 3 goal scorers on that occasion. Bookmakers' odds on this one for Red Star, 2-1 on for Olympiakos with the home win, 11-2 for Red Star, 16-5 the draw. The situation in this group, to be honest with you, it's already done and dusted. But Olympiakos, with a win, could go into the Europa League and send Red Star Belgrade home. So for me, I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for the hosts to snatch it, and again, snatch that Europa League spot. Next up, we have Shakhtar Donetsk up against Atalanta. Now, this group, it seems to be wide open for that second spot to go through to the knockout stages. Manchester City are already over the line as winners, but Shakhtar Donetsk and Atalanta will duke it out for basically a straight shot. Winner takes all, I think. I think. Well, it's not really winner takes all. A win for Atalanta will put them on 7 points. And if a Zagreb win over Manchester City, could see Zagreb go through. But anyway, these two sides have just duked it out the one time, and that was earlier in the campaign. It was a 2-1 win for Shakhtar Donetsk over in Italy. The form book heading into this, Atalanta have actually won 2 of the past 5 games. They've also just lost the 1, which was against Juve in the domestic league. Whereas Shakhtar Donetsk come into this unbeaten in 5, drawing 3 though, and winning just the 2. Bookmakers odds on this one 6-4 for Donetsk, 31-20 for Atalanta, 27-10. It is the draw. I'm going to go with a squeaky bum 2-1 win for Shakhtar to upset the odds a little bit and at least put Atalanta out. They'll be out. They wouldn't even make regardless of what goes on in this next game. And speaking of the next game, it is Zagreb up against Manchester City over in Croatia. Last time out was a 2-0 win over at the Etihad back in October. Goal scorers on that day was Raheem Sterling and Philip Foden. Bookmakers odds on this one also taking place on the Wednesday, I believe. Yes, 30-5 for Zagreb, 88-100 on for Manchester City, 3-1 the draw. A win for Zagreb would see them possibly oust Shakhtar Donetsk for that second spot. But basically, if Shakhtar Donetsk does win, it's over. There's nothing can be said or done to get Zagreb through. So I'm actually going to go with a 2-2 draw on this one. It won't be enough. They're already asking for a big old achievement to beat Manchester City. But I think they get a point. Will a point be good enough? It could be good enough looking at the goal difference if Shakhtar Donetsk lose. In fact, no. A defeat for Shakhtar Donetsk will give Atalanta 7 points and they would go through on this regard. So it's so tight in Group C. But anyway, kicking on to Group D. It is... is it Group D? Where are you, Group D? There they are, Group D. It'll be Atletico Madrid up against Lokomotiv Moscow. Moscow are completely out. Atletico Madrid are trying to get themselves through to the knockout stages. The previous encounters between the two sides, they played a few times, going back to 2007, 3 wins for Madrid, 1 draw along the way. That draw was back in 2007 in Russia, but the last time they did play in Spain was a 3-0 win back in 2018 when they duked it out last season. Saul Niguez got himself a goal, Diego Costa and Koch also got a 3rd goal along the way. The bookmakers odds on this one also taking place on the Wednesday. Is 2-11 on for Atletico Madrid, 16-1 the away win, 11-2 the draw. I'm going to go with Madrid on this one quite convincingly in the end, 3-1 to take home all 3 points, and that would put them through to the knockout stage. It doesn't matter what goes on between Leverkusen and Juventus, they could win 25-0 and they still wouldn't go through. But anyway, we're going to talk about it just in case. They played each other 3 times going back to 2001. 2 wins for Juve, 1 win for Juventus. 1 win for Juventus. 2 wins for Juve, 1 win for Bayer Leverkusen. That win for Leverkusen was the last time that they played over in Germany. It was a 3-1 win back in 2002. Goal scorers on that day, George Butt, Thomas Bradandic and Marko Babic, with Igor Tudor getting the only goal for Juve. Bookmakers odds on this one also taking place on the Wednesday. 21-20 for Leverkusen, 5-2 the away win, and also 5-2 the draw. So Leverkusen are slight favourites to win this one at home. And again, Juventus are already through, so they're not really going to be busting the gut, or maybe even Ronaldo won't even play this one. It's kind of an irrelevant fixture for them. They're already through as champions of their group or winners, so they're done and dusted and over the line. It's more to do with Leverkusen winning. To maybe oust Atletico Madrid. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Leverkusen on that regard. And that, again, will put this group in a very interesting scenario. But it will still go to Atletico Madrid to go join Juve if the results stay like this. Next up, we have into the next batch. It is, where are they? It's Napoli up against Genk. This is over in Group E. These two sides have only played the one time in recent years, and that was the 0-0 draw earlier over in Belgium. Heading into this, though, both sides are in absolutely woeful form. No wins between the pair of them. Genk actually come into this 3 defeats on the spin, whereas Napoli have actually just lost their last match, but drawn the previous 4. So they're both in hideous form. Bookmakers odds on this match, which is into Tuesday's games now. Where are you? 3-20 on for Napoli, 16-1 for Genk, 30-2 the draw. I would fancy a bit of action myself on that one. I'm going to go with Napoli on this one. 3-1 in the end, and that would do enough, I think, to get themselves through. as champions, or at least runners-up. Salzburg can't catch them. The only situation to be resolved now is who will join them. Will it be Salzburg, the goal-scoring extraordinaires, or will it be Liverpool, who are the champions? Now, heading into this, they bet the one time earlier in the campaign, it was a 7-goal thriller with Liverpool winning 4-3 in the end. Liverpool actually come into this 4 wins out of 5. That one blip up was Napoli in the Champions League last time around. They will play Bournemouth prior to this. Salzburg also unbeaten, but they've drawn 3 out of the past 5, winning 2. But they score goals. They score goals wherever they go, and they hope to continue that this time out. Bookmakers odds on this one: 27-10 for Salzburg, 6-5 on for Liverpool, 16-5 the draw on this sucker. Liverpool are the champions. They're good, but Salzburg are also good. But I think they'll just shade it, the champions, and get the win, and that will put to bed any little worries they may have. And they will go through as winners of their group as well, sending Salzburg to the Europa League, where they could do well. They could feature late on, I can imagine. Next up, we have into group, F. It is Dortmund up against Slavia Prague. Now, it's win or bust for Dortmund. They've got to win this game. To get any outside shot. This is Group F we're talking about. They'll put them up to 10 points, and then it'll leave Inter Milan up against Barcelona for that remaining spot. Barcelona are already through, so it doesn't really matter what. They can just field a weakened side and let Inter Milan win, and that would do the job itself. Dortmund against Slavia Prague, they played each other just the one time in recent years, and that was earlier in the campaign. It was a 2-0 win for the Germans over the Czech outfit. The bookmakers odds on this one: 2-9 on for Dortmund, 12-1 the away win, 5-1 the draw as well on this sucker. Dortmund in the Bundesliga, what's their form like? It's a bit woeful. In all competitions, they've actually only won twice at the past 5 games. The same can be said for Slavia Prague, 2 wins out of the past 5. Pretty much identical records, except for Prague have actually drawn 1 more game than Dortmund. Heading into this one, though, Dortmund will take it 3-1 to make this group a little bit spicy as we enter the final game of the group between Inter Milan and Barcelona. Obviously, Barcelona through, 11 points on the board. Inter Milan are in second with 7 as it stands. A win for Inter would then probably put it on goal difference. If they just got the 1-0, it might open up the door for Dortmund to sneak in there and overtake them with their larger goal victory this time out. The two sides have played each other a few times over the past 6 seasons. 1 win for Inter Milan, 4 wins for Barcelona, and 1 draw along the way. The last time they played over in Italy was a 1-1 draw, and that would not be good enough to send Inter Milan through. They need a victory. The last time they did beat Barcelona on their own turf was 3-1 back in 2010. Goal scorers on that day or Schneider, Maicon, and Diego Milito, with Pedro getting the only goal for Barca. Heading into this, bookmakers odds 10-6 on for Inter Milan, 17-4 Barcelona, 16-5. The draw on this one, I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw, and again, won't be good enough for Inter Milan to go through. It was sent Dortmund to join Barcelona in the knockouts. Inter Milan will go into the Europa League. Next up, we have Benfica up against Zenit St. Petersburg. Now, these two sides, surprisingly, have actually met quite a few times over the last few seasons. 3 wins for Benfica, 3 wins for Zenit. The last time that they played over in Portugal was a 1-0 win back in 2016. But Zenit have beaten Benfica on their own turf, and that was back in 2014, also in the Champions League. Heading into this, Zenit have actually won 4 games on the spin. Benfica are actually unbeaten in 5, though, winning 3 and 2 and drawing 2 in that cluster. Benfica come into this 23-20 on, 23-20 favourites to win this, 12-5 for the draw, 23-10. Zenit are the long shots. The situation in this table, Leipzig they're just about there, but it all depends on Zenit. Well, in fact, it's so complicated. A win for Benfica would put them onto 7 points, level on the amount of points that Zenit have. It would be down a goal difference, perhaps, but Zenit do have a superior one. So they need a large scoreline to upset that one, and then hope that Lyon get beat by Leipzig. I'm going to give it to Benfica, 2-0 in the end, but will that be good enough? We'll have to see. We'll get the calculator out in just a second. Meanwhile, Olympic Lyon will take on Leipzig in the final game within this group. Bookmakers odds, we'll get to that in a minute. The previous encounter was earlier in the season over in Germany. It was a 2-0 win for the Frenchies. Coming into this, Lyon have actually lost 3 of the past 5, whereas Leipzig have actually won 4 of the past 5 and actually drawn in the other game as well. Heading into this, match, which will take place on Tuesday. Lyon are 7-5 to win this one. Leipzig are 9-5. The draw is 5-2. Again, it's a whole host of permutations to see who goes through on this one. So I'm just going to give it to you straight. Lyon, 2-1 winners in the end, and that will put them on to 10 points. Same amount of points as Leipzig. Benfica will then get up to 7 points, which will not be good enough. So it would send Lyon and Leipzig through to the next stages. Woo! Next up we have the final group is Chelsea up against Lille. Heading into this match, Chelsea are in third spot. They need a win. A win would put them up to 11 points. Which would be good enough to go through because Ajax and Valencia are duking out in the other games. So Chelsea, they need a win against Lille. Now they played each other just the one time in recent years, and that was earlier in the campaign. It was a 2-1 win over in France. Heading into this, Lille have actually won 2 on the spin in Ligue 1, whereas Chelsea have actually only won the one game at the past 4, losing to Manchester City, drawing for Valencia, losing to West Ham, but they did pick up a victory against Aston Villa. Bookmakers' odds on this one, they go with 2-11 on for Chelsea to win this one. 16-1 the draw. 11-2, so 16-1 the away win. 11-2 the draw. Chelsea under Lampard look good, especially at home. They're going to snatch it 3-1, and that will be good enough. Will it be good enough to go through? Let's take a little sharp look at that. 11 points. It will put them through, but who will join them? Will it be Ajax or will it be Valencia? So a win for Valencia could see them also leapfrog Chelsea and push Ajax into the Champions League. It's been played over in the Dutchlands of Holland. Now Ajax and Valencia have played each other 3 times, going back to 2002. Ajax have won one of them, and there's been 2 draws along the way. The last time they played over in Holland, it was a 1-1 draw back in 2003. Goal scorers on that day, Petri Passanen, who I believe was a defender for Ajax, and Kiki Gonzalez from the penalty spot for Valencia. There goes Luna. Heading into this, the bookmakers' odds on this sucker. Final game of the group stages. Or not, in my eyes, obviously it takes place on Tuesday, so it's not really. 63-100 for Ajax, 80-5 for Valencia, 10-3 the draw. Ajax will get the draw, and what will that do? Oh my goodness, I think that it's good enough. It's good enough for Ajax to go through. Valencia will tumble out. Chelsea will join them. But let's confirm that with my calculations and my calculator. It will show you right here, PSG, Real Madrid into the knockout stages, Brugge into the Europa, Bayern, Spurs into the knockout stages, and Olympiakos into the Europa. Manchester City and Shakhtar Donetsk will go through to the knockouts. Dinamo Zagreb off to the Europa. Juventus, Atlético Madrid, off to the knockouts. Bayer Leverkusen, off to Europa. Liverpool, Napoli, knockouts. Salzburg, Europa. Barcelona, Dortmund, they're off to the knockouts. Inter Milan, off to the Europa. And then my final 2 here, Olympic Lyon and Leipzig, off to the knockouts. Zenit, into the Europa. And Ajax, Chelsea, into the knockouts. Valencia, you're off to the Europa, boys and girls. And that is that. Where am I? I'm lost. Where am I? Get me back. I'm a celebrity. Get me back into my office. Get me back into the studio. There we go, boys and girls. Get your predictions in for match number 6. And no, the next time you'll see me, or in this guise, it will be. Actually, there'll be a couple of videos. Hang on a minute. So I will be doing a recap of these predictions and your guys' predictions in a Champions League reaction video to my early door predictions that I made back in August. Not these ones that we've done week in, week out. So we'll do that. It'll be quite quick after these matches, maybe on a Friday or Saturday after the games. So you won't have to wait too long to do that. But as the actual knockout games come around, hopefully there'll be something new to look forward to on the channel, as well as these matchday by matchday predictions. There'll be something alongside it. Maybe a separate video. We'll have to see how it all pans out. But anyway, folks, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up. If you're new, smash the subscribe. New videos every single day on the channel, whether it's stuff like this or FM or FIFA, whatever we got. You can find it all here under one roof. I'm going to get out of here. I'm absolutely knackered. Until I see you all again. Ciao. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, Championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.